Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent who is consistently taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week, and we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then apply the copycat principle. How can you lose at that? If you're watching on Vulcan7 or you're watching on the Lead Gen Facebook group, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions during the broadcast. First, let me introduce my co-host from San Diego. That's Carly Hathaway, carlyhathaway.com. Hi, Carly. How's real estate?
Hi, Ren. Real estate is great. San Diego is a really hot market right now. Lots of new construction going up, so it's definitely a good time to be a listing agent.
Awesome. It is. I know. Well, good. Well, I hope you're selling a lot of houses.
Yes.
Good. And again, want to remind everybody we are broadcasting also on the Lead Gen Facebook group. They have 48,000 members, so we have a large audience there today as well. And we'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the Lead Gen folks. Let me welcome our guest today from Philadelphia, Zach Behr.
Hey, Ren. Hey, guys. Hey,
everybody. Hi, Zach.
Welcome.
How are you?
Wonderful. Great day to be in real estate.
Yeah, Philadelphia is a good spot, huh?
Market is moving, low inventory, just like you were saying about San Diego. It's really no different. So, listing property here, it's a phenomenal time to do so.
Well, it's a little different than San Diego. They've got great football in Philadelphia.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
And we have no football in San Diego, so there you go.
Yeah, it's coming off a big win.
Yeah.
Zach, what's the best way? Because a lot of people want to move to Philadelphia, besides just moving there just for great football. They may want to move there, or they may want to refer people to move there. So how's the best way for them to reach you to find a great home, or if they're already there, to sell a great home?
Sure. I think the cell phone's probably the best way to reach me.
Okay.
Cell phone number is 215-350-4125.
Okay.
Or you can send me via email if that's more convenient.
Sure.
Zach@zachbehr.com.
Perfect. Or they could go to zachbehr.com and learn a lot about how you're set up too, correct?
That works too, correct.
Okay, good. So 3 different ways. So call Zach. Move to Philadelphia in the summer.
We love referrals, and we love bringing new people into the Philadelphia area.
Good. Well, let's see how much of that we can do over the next year. Good deal.
Sounds good.
So what's the goal for transaction goal for this year, 2018? What's your goal?
It'll be 150 transactions.
150 transactions. That's a good number. That's a great number. Good.
So, Zach, how long have you been in the business?
So I've been licensed now since 2005.
Okay.
When I was 18, I was a college student. I decided, I saw a lot of money in 2004, 2005 being paid to real estate agents. I thought, well, I like money, so let's get licensed. And I did my freshman year of college, sold a few houses when I was in school, which helped, hope this is okay to say, pay for the parties and the booze and everything.
There we go.
That's okay to say.
Once I graduated college, I got really serious about it and went full-time in 2008.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So what is kind of your strategy? So you're going to try to you're shooting for 150 transactions in 2018. Correct. What is your strategy? How do you get new business? What do you do? Tell us. We need to know.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. I follow the Mike Ferry approach, which is not sitting back and hoping someone shows up to give me a listing or wants to buy, but more of a prospecting approach, which is why, I've been connected with you guys through Vulcan7, calling expireds for sell by owners, past clients, just listen to sold calls, all the like. We try to have as many sources as we possibly can. And myself, it's for the team, it's a team goal of 150. I'm the primary listing agent, and we have 2 buyer's agents that work for us as well.
Perfect. That's a good combination. Perfect combination for 150. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Great.
So where would you say majority of your business comes from?
Even though it's my least worked source over the last 10, 15 years, believe it or not, it's my past clients and center of influence.
Okay. All right.
It's one of those things that we kind of looked at over the last couple of years, like how we're getting so much business from these people, it's time to start working them. But primarily before the last couple of years, it was mostly expireds and for sale by owners.
Okay. So now that you kind of have switched over and are doing more, past clients and referrals, what's your strategy on contacting them? How often do you do it? Do you have priority people you call first? How often do you do it? Kind of explain.
Yeah. And so my objective, I always think I've got to find the motivated. And for that, it's, first thing in the morning, I start calling at 8 o'clock and I hit all the new expireds that day and all the canceled and withdrawn listings at that point. So it's expired, canceled, withdrawn for that day. We follow that by the last 48, 72 hours after that. But once it's, so the last 3 days is pretty much what I want.
Okay.
Because we know that the people that are the most motivated are going to relist their property within a 24 to 72 hour window. So my objective is I want to call the motivated. I don't want to waste time calling people, the same people over and over and over who don't answer. From there, we'll move to, I do my database calls starting typically about 9 o'clock. Then move over to for sale by owners, and I'll call the new expireds and cancels about 3 times every morning.
Okay.
Perfect. Good deal. Good. Fantastic. So, what are the different ways you stay in touch with past clients? Is it just phone calls, or do you touch them any other way?
So for a while, it was just the phone call. I think we had kind of dropped the ball there for a little while, but in an effort to really make the people that know us, not so much as realtors, but as cousins and friends and neighbors, to really make sure that they know who we are, we've kind of increased the level of mailing that we're doing as well. Mm-hmm. So everybody gets a mailing once a month now. And we're doing 2 emails a month to the database, 4 calls to everybody in the database except for my VIP clients. The people that are going to refer multiple deals every year to me, they'll get called once a month.
Okay, so with their VIP, how many people are in the VIP?
Not as many as should be. Always looking to grow that number. I think it's probably about 10 people in the VIP right now.
10 people in the VIP and growing. Okay.
Exactly.
We'll check back with you in 6 months, see if it's up to 22.
Good. Exactly.
Good. Well, if they're sending you that much business,
well,
that's a powerful group.
They get in that list because we know that they're what I would call a whale, right? Someone that's going to be someone that produces multiple deals for me in a year. So I want to make sure that I'm providing them the value to justify that, right?
Yeah.
Access to me. I'm keeping in touch with them, keeping them up to date with what's going on in the market. If there's good deals out there, that way they feel like it's worth continuing to send clients my way.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Great. Okay, so you said you get on the phones by 8 o'clock calling new expireds. Do you role play in the morning or anything like that?
Yeah, I role play once a day. Every day is a little bit different depending on the schedule, but typically it's either at as soon as I leave the gym at 7 o'clock or after as I'm getting, dressed and ready to go at 7:30.
Okay. Okay. So you're what time do you get to the gym? Because now I'm scared.
Okay. So
he gets up at 2 a.m.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, I wish I was that. I'm not the best at the morning thing in terms of waking up. So, but once I'm out of bed, I'm fine. So the gym starts at 6. It's a 1 hour. I CrossFit. So it's a 1 hour schedule. From 7, I go right home, shower, change, and get to the office.
CrossFit. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
So
that's the hot thing.
So do you think having a really regular schedule, including your workouts in the morning, really helps you stay on track and keeps you on the phones and keeps you motivated?
Yeah, I think having a structured morning has helped me significantly because I don't have to think about what to do, right? I may not be the brightest bulb out there, right? So for me, the less I have to think and the simpler I make this thing, the easier it is for me to produce.
So the routine pulls you.
Yeah, it's just, this is what I do.
Routines do, they pull you.
Right. You think about you get into the car and you drive to your parents' house or your kid's house.
Yeah.
A lot of times you get there and you're like, well, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You're using
unconscious mind. Well, if you do it long enough, it pulls you.
Yeah.
So good.
It's the same thing. It's absolutely. I love the morning schedule. Now the afternoon is something I'm striving to have as quality as the morning.
Well, if you ever get there, let me know. Nobody else has.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. So your afternoons are usually set aside for listing appointments, I'm guessing?
Yeah, typically I'll spend about an hour every afternoon working in the business or I always get that mixed up, not just prospecting and lead following up, but developing the systems so that everything's continued to be duplicatable and it runs on a system versus winging it. So I usually spend about an hour a day working on the business versus just lead follow-up and prospecting. So the afternoon's dedicated to that, along with returning phone calls, any client calls that have to be made, any lead follow-up. Appointments are usually 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, nice.
2 and 4. Okay.
2 and 4.
Okay.
Great.
And
So that gets you home a little early.
Yeah, I like to have a nice nightlife, whether it be going out, meeting up with some friends, or just, decompressing from the day. It's a good mental thing for me.
But you're not following the normal schedule, don't you know that? Most agents arrive at the office between 9:30 and 10. Mm-hmm. And they put together some different feature sheets and things like that, and wait for the phone to ring, brand themselves, and then take a buyer around and work till about 10:30 at night on a deal with a midnight deadline. Isn't that what happened to the midnight deadlines?
Well, Ren, I used to work what I call half days, right? I used to do 7 to 7 every day. And so
half days. I love it.
Really mailing it in and keeping it easy. But what I find is, I know it's counterintuitive for most people on the call or listenings, but the more I work, I found the less I do. So I'm actually more productive the less I work.
Yeah.
Right. There's always that fine line. Like if I don't show up, I don't get paid. I know.
It's focused energy. And
right.
You've got some focused energy. I don't know. A lot of the people watching right now we got to see something they haven't seen yet, and I'm hoping we're going to pull it in here in the next few minutes. We watched, and Carly, I think you saw it, we watched a role play that you were doing. Zach's very aware of his time, and he was doing this role play, and it was so good. I was convinced I was going to set an appointment with him too. My God.
Brent, when do you plan on moving?
I know. There we go. Well, soon.
Zach, how long does your listing appointment typically take?
It depends on the source and how I obtain the list or the appointment, but typically, I don't know, 25, half hour.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
you have it locked in pretty tight.
Like I took a listing last night and it was, Mike Ferry's 1-minute presentation. So
Nice. Good for you.
It just depends on the situation.
Good. Okay. And do you send a pre-listing packet?
We do. Yeah. So we follow a 5-step process, including the pre-listing packet.
Okay. What do you usually include in your packet?
So it'll be a list of references, people that have gone through the home sale process, not only listing, but going to closing, plan of action, all the listing paperwork along with comparable properties, and a recommend date. I did no surgery. Now I can't talk. No, with a recommended price as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. I like that you got the 1-minute listing down last night.
There.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that with you, it probably happens often because they get you ask them a lot of pre-qualifying questions. They get a packet, whatnot. They probably know they want to list with you before you even get there.
Sure, and
they know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they have all the information and I've asked all the qualifying questions, a lot of times things are settled before we get there.
So you just get in there and fill in paperwork and leave.
Essentially. It's even better when they call and just say, send over the paperwork, DocuSign, and I don't even have to, it's a no-minute presentation.
Yeah.
Score.
We'll see that. We'll get over and look at your house sometime.
Yeah, right, exactly. We'll stop over later to sign the contract.
There we go. Love it.
So Zach, let me ask you this. It seems like you keep really tight on your schedule. What is kind of your motivation to stick with it and to get on the phones every day and get on the phone by 8 a.m. and role play? What's really keeping you going? What's your motivation?
It's a great question. I'm a very naturally competitive guy, and I've always been about being the best I could possibly be, but also continuing to grow. So for me, there's a certain level of like internal ego satisfying thing where like I can prove to myself that I'm better than anybody. Right now, there's always going to be somebody better than me, and I'm always chasing that. But that is a motivation for me to be the best I can possibly be. But there's a certain level, I love to travel, things like that. That really motivates me. I'm an experienced guy. I just got back from the Super Bowl last week.
Nice.
So things like that really gets me going. And now you experience something like that and it has me thinking, well, what's the next thing? Right. So that really gets me going.
Nice. That's good. That's great.
So yeah, where are you going to be 5 years from now? How much? Where are you in transactions?
That's a great question. And I know Tony Robbins always says that people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 5. I would think within 5 years we can get to 500 transactions.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think you can do it.
Yeah, thank you.
And do a lot of traveling. You take a lot of time off?
Yeah, so it's, I went through some life changes over the last year to 2 years where last year I took I worked 50 less days in 2017 than I did the year before. And I produced more transactions and made more money.
Good. Good for you. That's the way to do it.
Very, very, very efficient. I'd love it if you could do a role play for us. And while you're doing it, if people could start typing in some questions, what happens is you don't type any, and by the time they type them in, it's too late to ask them. So if we could do a role play, and then, because that was a really good. You were at the. You were closing for an appointment. You used an analogy. Maybe what we should do is start like at the end of the script.
Sure.
And you're talking to Carly and she wants to move, and you're trying to close for an appointment at this point, and she's going, well, just send me your card and things like that. And you want to do something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So you're near the end of the script, Carly. You have to move. You're moving to Chicago. You want to price it at 500, and you're telling him just send him your card, and you want to think about it for a few days.
Okay. He's calling me, right?
No, he already called you, and you're near the end of the script.
Okay, yeah.
We're in the objection handler modes.
Okay, Zach, you know what? I appreciate your time. Thanks for calling, but just send me your info, and, if I decide I want to list with you, I'll just give you a call.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely send my information over to you. And Carly, can I ask you, in the sale of your property, how important is it going to be that you maximize what you get for the property?
That's my number one most important thing.
That's the A1 top priority.
Yeah. And I know I have the most beautiful house on the street. No one's compares to mine. So I know I should get top dollar.
Well, absolutely. And that's exactly why people like you will hire me, because I specialize in getting homes like yours, not only shown, but sold quickly for the most a buyer's willing to pay. Mm-hmm. I'd be happy to show you that today at around 4, or do you think 2 o'clock would be more convenient?
I just don't really have the time today.
Sure. Okay. If tomorrow's out, how about tomorrow? Are you preferring the afternoon or the evening?
Again, I just don't really know if I'm ready to list with you. I don't know. I'm indifferent.
Yeah. Hey, and it may work out that you and I don't work together. First off, we haven't met, and you don't owe me anything at all. Carly, can I ask you, have you ever bought a new car before?
I have.
Did you ever buy it over the phone, or did you go and test drive it?
I definitely went and checked it out and test drove it.
Yeah, you get the full experience. You get in the car and you drove it, which is exactly why you and I need to meet immediately, so I can show you exactly what we do to get properties like yours shown and sold quickly. So would you prefer to do that at 4 or 2 o'clock tomorrow?
What about like 7 p.m. tonight?
7 p.m. Okay. And, I've only spoken with you, and I see there's another person on title. Will you both be able to make it tomorrow at 7?
No, that's my husband. He will be at, work, and then he goes straight to the gym after that.
I see. Is it a possibility that he could rearrange his schedule to be there at 7? Or do we need to find a better time where he could be available?
I guess we'd have to find a better time.
Okay. So if he's going after work, should we say earlier in the day? Could you guys take lunch off and do around 12, or should we say 2 o'clock?
Will you bring lunch over to me?
I'll bring it with me. And can you do me a favor before I get there?
Yeah.
Make sure you guys have a copy of the key for me.
If you bring me lunch, I will have a copy of the key.
I'll bring the pizza. I'll bring the food, and we'll have some fun and get you listed. Is that fair enough?
Sounds good.
All right, great. I'll see you then.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Now I know why that you do a 1-minute presentation.
Assume the sale, right?
Was I too easy on you, or was it okay?
It's normal. I think you're going to get a lot of pushback a lot of times where people naturally want to resist and put things off. And a lot of times it's just hitting people from different angles.
Okay.
I'm asking the same question, but just in a different format.
Yeah.
So.
No, I liked it. And you kept it really positive the whole time. And I think that's what's really important too, because I think sellers can get real negative and nasty, especially towards us agents. So the fact that you kept it positive, I think was very helpful.
Well, one of the things I learned a long time ago in communication is that there's 3 parts to it. right? You've got the words that you say, which only make up about 7% of communication. The other 93% come from your tonality and your body language. So oftentimes when I see guys prospecting, I've been to the prospecting schools, they'll get a rejection and their body will go from this up, like really good posture to kind of slouch in the shoulders.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that little change, that small, minute change in your body language changes the tonality.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of that kind of goes into it.
Just like you can tell somebody's smiling when they talk to you, even though you can't see them. You can tell when they're smiling. Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely. Great advice.
Good. Julie Hummel wants to know, what do you include in your pre-listing package again?
Okay. Well, real quick, I know we covered this, but it was the list of references. I think I have 5 or 6 that are on there with the name and phone number. I provide the plan of action, like the things what we're going to do to get your home sold.
Mm-hmm.
All of the contracts, including all the disclosures, and then the CMA with a recommendation on price with the net sheet.
Super, super, super. Leslie Vargas says, I get more objections than no's. What do you do to get an appointment when they say no and don't offer up any information? If they just say no, and I mean, what do you do with someone, we used to call them clams. They would speak very little.
Well, there's a good percentage of the population are going to be that way. So it's an important question. I think a lot of it goes back to is mirror and matching how they're being, but also sticking to the script. Mm-hmm. What I find oftentimes happens, it's so easy to go into a close. Mm-hmm. They say no, and then you close again. Mm-hmm. Versus going back to the script where you have a roadmap of good questions to get you guys, like the customer and client, speaking and giving you more information.
Just so well-defined script.
Yeah, I mean, most of the scripts you see out there, if they're open-ended, will get the client talking, and then you can use that information moving forward to either ask additional questions or close them on their motivation.
And maybe she's using a lot of yes or no questions, and so therefore she gets a lot of no's.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to close down the conversation if you're asking yes or no questions. You're going to be careful.
I think that's a great idea to just kind of go back up halfway through the script and just go again. Wait, so you're moving to Chicago. Are you excited about it? You know, things like that.
Yeah, like what's important about that? What would that do for you? Mm-hmm. Isn't that a great feeling? Like there's so many different ways you can kind of reconnect them to the purpose of them moving.
So Zach, let me ask you this. What's one really top piece of advice you could give for new agents that are just starting out on the scripts and just starting out with the calling and things like that?
You have to find a way to, once you so you start getting into script practice. What I found the big problem for me, and I imagine a lot of people run into this, is like, I thought I had to be so scripted and so almost robotic with it. Mm-hmm. And there comes to a certain point where you have to realize that people don't want an agent that's rigid, right? Like they want somebody that's going to be alive and excited and be there. Selling is a transfer of enthusiasm. Okay. So what I'd say is like, really internalize the scripts, but I don't want to say add personality where you're adding your own scripts to it. So stay with the script, but smile, use body language, really be yourself to a certain extent.
Yeah. So insert your personality.
Yeah. Insert personality. I think they developed those on personality.com. I think I've heard one time.
Oh yeah.
One. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have any accountability partners or any other methods of accountability that keep you focused on the days you don't feel like it?
Yeah, so I got a few of them. So a good buddy of mine, Mark, down in Hollywood, Florida, him and I have a lead follow-up and past client center of influence accountability. Mm-hmm. I know, I take the number of clients I've got to call in a quarter, divide that by the number of days I have to work. So I know how many people I've got to call every day, which usually is about 8 or 9 people I've got to call a day. So as soon as I've done that, I have to pick up my phone and text Mark. Not only have I done my past client center of influence, I've done my lead follow-up.
Nice.
Is there a penalty if you don't?
$100 a day.
$100 a day. Okay.
$100 a day.
Good.
Yeah.
And
you had to pay out?
So there's only one time where I didn't do it, but it was a couple weeks ago, and then him and I put a bet on the Eagles game, and I won. So it was double.
Oh, there you go.
So,
nice.
Yeah, it worked out for me.
Good.
Fantastic. So what do you do for mindset It looks like you just have it automatically, but we all have to work at that. You know, there's so much negative stuff in the world. We have to work at that. And I know you have a few things you do.
Yeah, I wish I could say it was a natural thing for me, but it's anything but. I think being competitive, I'm always looking for ways to increase my mindset. I think I'm naturally an optimistic guy, but sometimes when you hit roadblocks and you see things that are discouraging, it can be a negative effect. But one of my core philosophies is that the way I operate is it's not about probabilities. It's about possibilities, right?
I like that.
I have that, like, that's a fundamental core belief that I have, that, like, you think about the Super Bowl 2 years ago. New England Patriots are down 28-3 with what, like a couple minutes left in the third quarter. Now, I don't like the Patriots to say for any bit. Like, I can't. But what I have to respect is that they're down 28-3. Now, for all intents and purposes, the probability of them winning, I bet you if you look at it, it's like 99% that they're going to lose. Now, if the Patriots believe that and based everything they did on probability, do they win the Super Bowl?
No.
No. I mean, that team had a focus of what's possible. And so for me, it's just to keep going back to what is possible, not what's probable. And that's kind of what a mindset thing that I keep training myself to do. So it's reading, being around people that do more business than I do, you know, watching videos like this. I'm always trying to fill my mind with as much as possible. I probably read 30, 35 books a year.
Nice.
And I'm always playing some kind of audio when I'm in the car, all the time.
That's great. That's a really great attitude and a really nice philosophy. I think anyone could take away from that.
Yeah.
What are you reading that you like? If you're reading so many books, there's bound to be a favorite in there.
I'll tell you one of the ones I read, I'd recommend almost to anybody. It's called Overachievement.
Overachievement.
I couldn't tell you for the life of me who wrote it. I just finished reading it. But it's a really good book. You can get it on, I got it on the iPad. It's not a long read, but it's just a really good, it's different than the normal, like, think positive books. It's just a really good book.
Nice. I'll look for that. I'm going to read that next.
Me too.
Jay Bollinger asks, you know, and this is good because it's about tracking numbers. What is your contacts to appointments?
Wow, it's such a good number. So I try not to, you know, it's funny, like I track all my numbers. They're all in my analyzer, but I try not to overthink my numbers.
Okay.
I want to say I take a listing at, so far this year, every 45 contacts, maybe less.
Okay.
What it was last year, I have no idea.
Okay.
I think a lot of times we can get into the pattern of overthinking our numbers where it could be a negative effect too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, and how many transactions did you do last year?
We did 96.
Nice. That's great.
That's a huge number.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I figured now that I'm back to work this year, I can do 150. So
Totally.
So, all right. So let's look at that. So you're 96 and you're going to 150. What did you have to change? What are you changing? What causes 150? Is it just hope, or did you specifically have 4 or 5 or 6 things you had to change to get there?
Yeah. So I think it boils down to a few things. We did, 50, 55 transactions from past client center of influence last year. Okay. I spent maybe 5% of my time calling them. They maybe got 1 to 2 calls all of last year each. Right. So I'm switching it up to the point where I know that that's the most profitable source I can work. So we're going to be calling them every quarter. My VIPs are every month. They're all getting a mailing every single month. So that is a business change that we're making, because I believe if I'm asking people the right questions. Well, Ren, let me ask you this. Did you ever get anything the first time you were told something?
No.
Like, oh, you have to prospect. Okay, I got it automatically.
Oh, that's easy. Next.
I wish it was that.
Yes.
So we have to get to a point where we're training our database, the people that don't know that we're Zach the Realtor. This is what we do, and this is how you give me a referral. I mean, how many times have you been in a situation where your clients have said, oh, I passed your name over to somebody. We never got a call from them. So it's changing, not only calling them, because calling is one thing, but educating them on how to send me a referral.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Right? Because most people think, oh, somebody's going to call, but people have busy lives. So I kind of go with the assumption, if somebody tells me, okay, Well, Bob at work is thinking about selling his house. Great. What's Bob's number? Versus, oh, do you think I could call Bob?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the sale. I'm saying, okay, what's Bob's number? I'm going to give him a call.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think that's a primary thing for us. But I think I'm going to work a little bit more this year than last year. So that will help with expireds and for sell by owners and everybody else. Really, it's about being more efficient, I think, this year.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you went through, made a list of where does all my business come from in different categories, and then how much time am I spending in each of those categories.
Absolutely.
And made some fundamental changes. So that's a huge exercise. That really works.
The light bulbs were exploding with like, you're doing
what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, you're doing all this business, right? Like, and it's funny, somebody asked me, if you could do anything differently from when you started, what would it be? Well, it's growing my database and working the database the right way.
Okay.
The reason why we call expired, it's the reason why we call for sell by owners and just listed, just sold, is to grow the database. So we get not do one transaction, but do a lineup of them from the referrals and repeat business.
Perfect. Yeah. Well,
anybody can take that. I mean, that's a moneymaker for everybody.
Definitely.
Perfect. This is great. Fantastic. Laura Kirsten said she's asking if you send a package to FSBOs, and he only does it if he has an appointment. I would think you don't just send a packet to FSBOs for the hell of it, do you?
Every single one of them. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's only if they have an appointment and they've been qualified.
Okay.
If they're not pre-qualified, they're not getting a pre-listing packet.
Good.
I do it in order. Yeah.
Good. Well, this is exciting, and I know you're building a huge business there. And the nice part about it, you know, when you look at 150 transactions and there are only you and 2 buyer agents, there's a great income there. That's huge.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia's a good market.
I'm happy. I'll be happy with it.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for joining us this has been a great show, and hopefully a lot of people have learned a lot of things, and I'm sure we'll get bombarded with a lot of texts and emails after the show's over, and hopefully it'd be fun to have you back again, see how the year's progressing, maybe in the fall, something like that.
Anytime, let me know. I'm happy to help and kind of be back on the show.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Zach. You have great energy, and I think people really learned a lot. I know I did, so thank you.
Oh,
What a fantastic role play.
Too. I'm not like, I think I'm a genuinely nice guy. So if you want to reach out to me with questions or emails, I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Fantastic.
Great.
I appreciate that. And so last thing on, I have to do my little commercial spot to thank the folks at the Lead Gen group on Facebook. If you want to get involved with them, they have 48,000 members there. Facebook.com/groups/objections. And I want to thank Aaron Wittenstein, who runs expiredmasteryelite.com. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not involved with us, Vulcan7, make sure to sign up at Vulcan7.com/leadgen for a special deal. And if you are like Zach, you're going for 150 transactions, you've done your job, you've spent all morning making your contacts, and it's that time. Yes, not lunchtime. It's time to go to the freezer and get some delicious Grater's mint chocolate chip. Get a big spoon. Good stuff. We'll see you guys again next week. We appreciate it. And tell your friends to watch the show. Love to have everybody and learn a lot. All make a lot of money. See you guys later. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, guys.